The dirt was frozen hard. It was deep winter in the mountains. The coffin was cheap wood. Inside was a girl named Zona. Her neck was snapped like a dry twig. The man who did it stood right there. He was crying loud, so nobody would look at his hands. He thought the secret was buried 6 feet deep. He was wrong. You're watching an unbelievable true story, where we only tell real stories. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. This happened in Greenbrier, West Virginia. The year was 1897. It was a cold, lonely January. The victim was Elva Zona Heaster. She was a young woman who just wanted to be loved. She was targeted by a man who moved into town and moved too fast. Her mistake was trusting a stranger with a dark past. She didn't know he had bad luck with wives before. The world is a hard place for people on their own. According to The WHO, 1 in 3 women globally will face physical or sexual violence. WHO, 2021. Sometimes you have to be your own hero. Taking a basic self-defense or safety course is a good way to stay sharp. It helps you see the red flags before the door locks. Zona was dead and buried. The killer was free. But then, the dead girl started to talk. She didn't stay in the ground. And what she told her mother changed everything. This story is based on real events reported by police and news sources. The wind in West Virginia doesn't just blow in January. It bites. It's the kind of cold that gets inside your bones and stays there. In 1897, the mountains were covered in white. The trees looked like skeletons. People stayed inside by their fires. They didn't see much. They didn't hear much. That is how Erasmus Trout Shue liked it. Trout was a blacksmith. He was big. He had heavy hands. He was a stranger who just showed up in Greenbrier County. He had a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. But Zona liked him. Zona was young. She was full of life. She had bright eyes and dreams of a house and a family. She thought Trout was her big chance. They got married quick. Too quick. Some people in town whispered. They said Trout was a man with a temper. They said he had been married before. They didn't know the half of it. They didn't know that Trout's first wife said he was a devil. They didn't know his second wife died under strange circumstances. Zona just saw a man who needed her. She moved into a small house. She cooked. She cleaned. She tried to be a good wife. But the winter started to feel very long. Trout wasn't the man she thought he was. He was cold. He was mean. He treated her like something he owned, not someone he loved. It was January 23rd. The snow was falling light outside. Inside the house, it was quiet. Too quiet. A young boy from the neighborhood was sent to the house by Trout. Trout told him to go check on Zona. He told the boy to see if she needed anything from the store. The boy walked up to the porch. His boots crunched on the frozen wood. He knocked. No answer. He pushed the door open. It wasn't locked. He saw Zona. She was lying at the bottom of the stairs. She was flat on her back. Her eyes were open, staring at nothing. Her body was stiff. The boy screamed. He ran all the way home to find his mother. By the time a local doctor, Dr. Knapp, got there, Trout was already home. This is where things got weird. Most husbands would be crying on the floor. Most husbands would be asking why. But Trout was busy. He had already moved Zona's body. He moved her from the floor to the bed upstairs. He didn't want the doctor to look at her. Trout had dressed her himself. He put her in her best dress. It had a high, stiff collar made of lace. He wrapped a big, thick scarf around her neck 3 or 4 times. He tied it in a big bow right under her chin. The doctor tried to look at her. He wanted to see why a healthy young woman just dropped dead. But Trout went crazy. He grabbed Zona's head. He started crying and yelling. He told the doctor to leave her alone. He wouldn't let the doctor touch her neck or her head. The doctor felt bad. He thought Trout was just a man who lost his mind from grief. He didn't want to fight a grieving husband. So, he did something he shouldn't have done. He didn't finish the exam. He wrote down fainting as the cause of death. Later, he changed it to childbirth. He didn't really know. He just wanted to get out of that house. They had the wake the next day. The house was full of people. They all saw the same strange thing. Trout stayed right by Zona's head the whole time. He didn't let anyone get close. He put a pillow on one side of her head and a folded sheet on the other. He said he wanted her to be comfortable. People thought it was sweet. They thought he loved her so much he couldn't let go. But Zona's mother, Mary Jane Heaster, was watching. She didn't like Trout. She never did. She saw the way he was hiding her daughter's neck. She saw the way he wouldn't let the head move. Mary Jane took the sheet from the coffin after everyone left. It smelled like chemicals and death. She tried to wash it in a basin of water. The water turned red, then turned clear, but the sheet stayed gray. Mary Jane knew right then. This wasn't a fainting spell. This wasn't an accident. Her daughter had been murdered. But who would believe a mother's bad feeling? In 1897, you needed proof. You needed a witness. And the only witness was dead. The world can be a dark place when the truth is buried. According to The Who, 1 in 3 women globally will face physical or sexual violence. Who, 2021. It happens in big cities, and it happens in small mountain towns. Staying safe means watching the people close to you. Sometimes the person who says they love you is the one you need to watch out for. Taking a basic safety course can help you see those red flags before they turn into a nightmare. Mary Jane prayed. She sat by her fire in the cold dark. She asked God for a sign. She asked Zona to tell her what happened. For 4 nights, nothing happened. Just the wind. Just the cold. Then, on the 5th night, the room got cold. Colder than the January air outside. The light from the fire dimmed. Mary Jane looked up. There was Zona. She wasn't a bright light. She wasn't an angel. She looked like she did the day she died. She looked cold. She looked sad. She started to speak. She told her mother about the house. She told her about the fight. She told her about the dinner they were supposed to have. And then, she showed her mother how it happened. The ghost of Zona turned her head all the way around until it was facing backward. She told her mother that Trout had reached out in a rage. He had grabbed her by the throat. He had squeezed until the bones popped. He broke her neck because the house wasn't clean enough, because the dinner wasn't ready. The ghost vanished. But Mary Jane didn't sleep. She knew she had to go to the prosecutor. She had to tell the law that a ghost told her who the killer was. She knew people would think she was crazy. She knew Trout would try to stop her. But she wasn't scared. She had the truth now. She put on her coat. She stepped out into the snow. The mountain was quiet. But the secret wasn't 6 feet deep anymore. It was walking with her. Mary Jane Heaster walked into the office of the prosecutor. His name was John Preston. He was a man of facts. He liked law books. He liked evidence. He didn't like ghost stories. Mary Jane sat down. She looked him in the eye. She told him her daughter was murdered. She told him exactly how it happened. She described the broken neck. She described the house. She described the anger of Trout Shue. Preston asked her how she knew. Mary Jane didn't blink. She told him the truth. She said her daughter came to her bed. She said the spirit told her everything. Preston wanted to laugh. He wanted to tell her to go home. But there was something in her voice. It was raw. It was honest. And he remembered the doctor. He remembered hearing that Dr. Knapp didn't finish the exam because the husband was acting like a wild animal. Preston started to ask around. He talked to the neighbors. They told him about the scarf. They told him how Trout wouldn't let anyone touch the body. They told him how Trout had a gift for gab, but a very short fuse. Preston looked into Trout's past. He found out the truth. Trout wasn't just a blacksmith. He was a man who left a trail of broken women behind him. His first wife left him because he was too violent. His second wife died in the middle of the night. People said she fell. People said a rock hit her head, but no one really looked. According to The Who, 1 in 3 women globally will face physical or sexual violence. Who, 2021. Trout Shue was a man who made those numbers real. He was a predator who hid in a small town where people were too polite to ask questions. Preston decided to do something big. He decided to dig up the body. In a small town in 1897, digging up a grave was a huge deal. It was a scandal. Trout Shue heard about it and got angry. He said it was a sin. He said they were hurting his wife again. But the police didn't listen. They went back to that frozen ground. They pulled the wooden box out of the dirt. They took Zona to a local one-room schoolhouse. They put her on a wooden table. Trout Shue was forced to be there. He sat in the corner. He watched the doctors. He was still trying to act like a sad husband, but he was sweating in the winter cold. 3 doctors started the autopsy. They opened her up. They looked at her heart. They looked at her lungs. Everything was fine. She wasn't sick. She didn't faint. Then they got to the neck. They took off the dress with the high lace collar. They took off the thick scarf. The room went quiet. The doctors gasped. Zona's neck was broken. The windpipe was crushed. There were finger marks deep in the skin. Someone had grabbed her with huge, strong hands, and twisted until her life went out. It was exactly what the ghost said. The doctors looked at Trout. He wasn't crying anymore. He was just cold. He knew he was caught. They arrested him right there. They took him to the jail in Lewisburg. The town went crazy. They wanted to pull him out and hang him from a tree. They didn't want a trial. They wanted justice for the girl who had to come back from the dead to get it. This story is based on real events reported by police and news sources. The jailer had to hide Trout. He was scared the mob would burn the building down. While Trout was in his cell, he didn't act scared. He acted arrogant. He joked with the guards. He said no jury would convict a man based on a mother's dream. He thought he was smarter than everyone else. He thought the ghost story would save him. He thought he could make the mother look crazy in court. But Mary Jane wasn't crazy. She was a mother on a mission. She knew that sometimes the only way to get justice is to be louder than the lies. If you ever feel like you're being watched, or if someone makes you feel small and scared, don't stay quiet. Taking a safety or self-defense course can give you the tools to speak up before it's too late. It can help you find your voice while you still have one. The trial started in the summer. The weather was hot. The courtroom was packed. People traveled for miles to see the ghost trial. The prosecutor, Preston, was smart. He didn't want to talk about the ghost. He wanted to talk about the neck. He wanted to talk about the finger marks. He wanted to talk about the blacksmith's strong hands. But Trout's lawyer made a mistake. A big one. He thought he could win the case by making Mary Jane look like a fool. He called her to the stand. He started asking her about the visions. He asked her if she saw the ghost in the daylight. He asked her what the ghost was wearing. He was laughing. He wanted the jury to laugh too. Mary Jane didn't laugh. She told them everything. She told them how the room got cold. She told them how Zona turned her head around to show the break. She spoke with so much heart that the room went silent. The jury didn't laugh. They looked at Trout Shue, and for the first time, they didn't see a grieving husband. They saw a monster. The jury sat there in the heat. They looked at Mary Jane. Then they looked at Trout Shue. Trout wasn't smiling anymore. He was leaning back in his chair, trying to look bored. But his hands were shaking. He knew the crazy mother had just convinced every man in that room that he was a killer. The lawyers finished their talk. The judge gave his orders. The jury walked out to a small room to decide if Trout would live or die. Most people thought they would be in there for days. It was a hard thing to believe in ghosts. They were back in 1 hour. The foreman stood up. He didn't look at Trout. He looked at the judge. "Guilty," he said. The courtroom exploded. People were cheering. Some were crying. Trout Shue just sat there. He looked like he couldn't believe his luck had run out. The judge sentenced him to life in the state prison. He didn't get the rope, but he got the bars. Trout Shue didn't last long in prison. A few years later, a sickness went through the jail. He died behind those cold walls in 1900. He died alone. He died forgotten. But people never forgot Zona. This story is based on real events reported by police and news sources. Mary Jane lived for many more years. She didn't care if people called her the ghost mother. She knew she did right by her girl. She knew that the truth is a heavy thing, but it always finds a way to the surface. Today, if you drive through West Virginia, you can find a big metal sign on the side of the road. It tells the story of the Greenbrier Ghost. It is the only place in America where the government officially says a ghost helped solve a murder. The world is still a dangerous place for people who trust too easily. According to the WHO, 1 in 3 women globally will face physical or sexual violence. WHO, 2021. That is why we tell these stories. We tell them so you look twice at the stranger with a quick smile. We tell them so you listen to that little voice in your head that says something is wrong. Taking a safety course or a self-defense class isn't just about fighting. It's about being smart. It's about making sure your story doesn't end in a cold house in January. Zona Heaster Shue is still in that graveyard. The mountains are quiet now. The snow still falls on her headstone every winter. But she isn't restless anymore. She got to say her piece. She got her justice. Life is short. It's fragile. 1 minute you're dreaming of a wedding, and the next, your memory. Don't let your light go out because you were too polite to walk away. Next time, we're going to talk about a man who walked into a forest and found a door that shouldn't have been there. A door that led to a place where time doesn't exist. You don't want to miss that one. Stay safe, stay sharp, and keep your eyes open.